What's going on YouTube? Effect Records here. Today I'm bringing you a 2005 EVO 8 update. So yeah, been away for a couple weeks. I think my last video was a couple weeks ago or something like that. But yeah, a lot has changed within that allotted time, and I'm gonna try to go over everything right now. But yeah, so this was all rusty. I can't even remember my last video. I should probably watch it before I do these if they're a couple weeks out. But a lot of this was rusted and stuff like that. And a lot of this, like all of this was rusty. I'm pretty sure I went over like underneath and in here and stuff. And all around here was a lot of rust. Well, long story short, it is Raptor liner. So I went ahead and on the lift I put up these like welding things all around and put a tarp down, and I primered everything with the Raptor anti-corrosive epoxy primer with the hardener in it, so like the actual 2K stuff. So I went ahead and did that, and then I didn't have enough. I had 2 cans of it, and I did most in the biggest areas on it, but I didn't have enough. So then I got out my spray gun and used epoxy primer that's actually out of my gun for everything else. And then I had 4 cans of Raptor liner, which I still need some more because I'm going to do the tank as well. But I actually ran out, and I had to, like, so you can see some primer through this areas, which I'm going to hit that also. But I actually bought a can, which is at home right now. I bought 1 extra additional can after I ran out. I went ahead and ordered another one, which just came in a couple days ago, over the Friday, or over the weekend, something like that, because right now it's Monday. But there is a couple areas like that where you see some primer see-through, but it's not bad. It looks really good in my opinion. But before I Raptor linered it, I got some brushable seam sealer, and I seam sealed every little seam that I could, that I seen. A lot that I was repairing. So like, for instance, I seam sealed all the way down here, all the way across here. I actually seam sealed all of this, even though there wasn't a seam there, but I was trying to separate the bottom piece for the top piece and stuff. Down here, like right here, is I had to do some weld patching, and then I put seam sealer all over on that, just gloops of it. A lot of it's just globs of seam sealer is what I put on it, just to make sure that it's good to go. Like the inside doesn't look very good either, because I had to weld up some areas on here as well, which might be in a previous video. And then I just glued it, like just tons of seam sealer on it, after the primer, of course, to make sure that everything was good to go and wasn't going to get no moisture in there. But yeah, I think the Raptor liner came out really good. There is a couple things that I need to do when I get home, which I'm going to take my my little hand sandblaster to, which is like in here, which you can see all that rust in there. So there's still a lot of rust that was in there that I couldn't really get to without a sandblaster. And the only sandblaster that we got at school is this one that I was just using today. Actually, it's a giant one. Is that guy right there. So that's a super big one. So I couldn't do this, but I'm gonna take it home, and there's some areas in there. I forgot to primer some areas in the trunk that I did, but I could do that at home as well, so I'm not too worried about that. So the story with that is it was bubbling up some rust right there, and I went to get it smooth and get it back to bare metal. Well, it turned out there was like a oval rust hole that somebody before me just didn't really fix it at all, and just put some body filler with fiberglass in it, and kind of just covered over it. So there's a giant hole, so I went ahead and made it square, and then I made patches for it too, which I plan on welding here soon, this week. So this one is the inside, so it'll be the one that goes through there like that, and then I made one for the outside as well. So there's that. I started putting the subframe back on because I got until next Tuesday to get this car out of school. and back home in my garage. So I started putting the front hubs, the rear subframe, the rear hubs. There's the front subframe right there, which I plan on primering. I like to primer today actually before I leave. I'm actually staying later. School got over about 2 hours ago for my class, but I'm staying through second years. So I can go ahead and primer all this. I'm trying to prep this right now is what I'm working on for primer. Now I sandblasted this, and all these Brembo brakes in here, and some other miscellaneous parts, which I sandblasted those, but they're flash rusting. So I just got to clean those up with the wire wheel, because the sandblaster that's out there is a wet sandblaster. Now there's 8 sets of Brembo brakes, because the ones that I had on my previous Lancer and the ones that came on this, I'm sandblasting everything, so that way I can go ahead and paint them and then get the Brembo stickers on it. I plan on getting a brake kit for them, so I can make them good as new kind of thing. And then I plan on selling the 4 that I have and then keeping 4 for my project, and then hopefully getting a little bit more money out of the 4 that I sell by doing all this extra work. It's kind of like my hopes and dreams, but I don't know. I'll let Facebook decide that. But yeah, I was kind of worried with the gas tank just because of how rusty, how scaly it looked, but I don't see any holes on it, which is phenomenal. Like, I thought it was going to be a bigger problem than when I initiated it. When I took it out, I thought I had to get a new one, and it's get discontinued, so I didn't know what I was going to do. But when I started sandblasting it, and actually I started with a grind wheel just to see if it was, you know, solid or not, because it didn't look very solid. But yeah, it came out pretty good, so I'm super stoked at that. As always, I got broken studs on like every single one except for like that one and that one. They're all there. That one is all there too, I guess. So it's basically just this one and this one, I guess. Some broken studs I got to deal with, which is fine, I guess. So there's all of this stuff. I think I showed you everything here. Let's go ahead and end it in the paint booth real quick. I'll show you what I got going in here. So right now I did my second coat of clear, but I'm doing one kind of half a coat because there's an area where I can't get to. So here in the paint booth, I got the rear diff. So I primered these with epoxy primer, and then I got black paint on them as well, and then I clear coated them, which I did the primer Friday, and then I started painting on black this morning and then clear coat. So this is the part that holds that onto the rear subframe with that. So I think it looks pretty good. I think they look great, but the part that I can't get to with the clear is the underside of this because of how it lays. So I'm just going to flip that up real quick and clear coat that in a little bit. I'm just letting it flash over and do all that, but I think it looks really good. You should have seen them before I even started. I'm sure you did in one of my videos about this project, but I have been taking pictures of like before and afters. But this was flaky, like the gas tank looked terrible. This wasn't flaky or anything, but it did have a lot of rust on it, obviously. But that was like all surface rust, so I wasn't too worried about it. I actually sandblasted these as well, which I did that Friday. I would have sandblasted everything together, but I didn't have them. The other stuff was at home. And then today I was going to sandblast the front subframe. And since I was going to go ahead and sandblast the front subframe, I went ahead and went home and grabbed everything that I need to sandblast for the most part, except for some tiny pieces, which I can do in my sandblast cabinet. So that way I can go ahead and get it all done right now. So, but yeah, that's basically where we're at. The Raptor liner, which is like super hard. Like it definitely seems durable. Durable enough, but like I said, this week I want to get that completely welded up together and kind of like apply body filler, so that way it's ready to go home. And yeah, once I put the rear diff in, then I'm going to bolt those up because they're just sitting in there right now. But I'm going to bolt everything up and get everything ready to go home, hopefully. But yeah, that's basically this video. If you like it, please comment, rate, and subscribe. And let me know what color I should do my brakes. I'm thinking about candy apple red is the color that I'm thinking about going with. But yeah, just let me know. And I'll see you on the next one. All right, peace.